trauma is a silent killer. It's a virus, it's a parasite. Most of us all think that trauma is the death of a loved one, a violent abuse, or a serious injury. But what about the fighting between parents, or even our grandparents, or even our great grandparents? Like for me, I witnessed my grandfather beating up my grandmother, and even he caned me actually.
She got caned.
But what did it do to me? I vibrated a marriage that was abusive. So this is how the trauma is. That's why I'm saying a silent killer. We don't even know. I didn't know that that existed, or just witnessing that. But I thought that was the way of life, and that I should also have the same thing, that I deserve to be punished. But I vibrated that, and I put a stop to it. I said, till I became aware. What did the shouting and anger do to my son? As that's all he can remember. And he's now decided not to be a father. Trauma, silent trauma, right? He doesn't realize that that's the impact. Then I divorced my husband. And what did it do to my child? My child seeks gratification from her father. And that actually was such a big trauma for a very long time, till I saw that that's a trauma. So this is what it does to our family members, to ourselves. And then what comes with trauma? Shame, blame, anger, lack of self-confidence, depression. And all of this influences our lives because of the trauma that we have experienced. What do? We go into survival mode rather than the thriving mode. We are all, as part of nature, and nature thrives. But when we have experienced trauma, like, for example, where we cut off trees and we burn that trees, the earth goes to trauma, and that, it just remains barren. And that's what happens to us. We remain barren. We remain in survival mode. And so it makes us make choices that we don't really want. But because, we are unable to see the greater picture, we don't choose our greatness. We don't choose things with ease. So it is very crucial for us, absolutely crucial for us to get rid of our trauma, to get out of our victim mode, to get out of our victim mindset, and out of this negative self talk that we do, because we put ourselves down. We think we're wrong, we've done something wrong, we are to blame, we created all of that. And once we have experienced trauma, we don't think we deserve. We think we don't deserve. We don't deserve goodness in life. We don't deserve anything in life. So, what happens is, because of the trauma we've experienced, all we do, all we do is vibrate the negative, because that's what we think we deserve. We deserve to be punished. We deserve to be victimized. We deserve to be in that state of mind that nothing is better for us. And that is why the only way to get out of trauma is to do a session. Because what happens is, trauma disorient us, it disheartens us, and we can't solve it on ourselves, and we don't even know like what it is. Like on the group, this girl was so traumatized. Even I put, she wanted to connect with her power animal. She couldn't connect with her power animal. She couldn't even understand what was happening, because there was so much trauma in her mind. She couldn't even reach, couldn't even have the clarity. Till in the end, I said, I gave her a little message, and I held a little space for her. And then she was able to say, oh, thank you. And then I acknowledge that you're struggling, and then it was like, oh yeah, thank you. And that is what we need someone to acknowledge we're struggling. We need someone to hold our space and hold our hand. And that's where we come in. We're here to hold your hand, we're here to hold your space, and we are here to hold whatever energy that you require to help you get over trauma. And what else trauma does? Trauma is so, it creates that conflict within us, and we don't know who we are. We don't know what we want. We don't know what we're capable of achieving. Because as I said, all we think that we deserve the worst because of blame, shame, anger. And that trauma sits in our subconscious mind, keeps on playing and playing and playing. And then what happens? We only see trauma through the filter of the eyes, where we have been tainted or stained or traumatized. And all the choices that we make, everything that we make, creates difficulties, because we choose the difficult path, because we can't see the ease in our life. So today, choosing to do a session with us and choosing to be free of trauma is the biggest gift you can give yourself. If at all nothing, choose to get rid of your trauma, because trauma does not only affect you, trauma affects your loved ones, your family, your children, your colleagues, and so much more. Sure.
So, yesterday we discussed different types of traumas in detail. But today I want to tell you how it actually enters into your energy field. So, primarily, there are two categories. One, what we call as an active trauma, and the other is a passive trauma. So, what would be the active trauma? The experiences that involve direct and immediate association. Like you hit your, you make an accident. Now your leg is hurt, and you immediately see a swelling there. Why? The trauma got trapped and the swelling shows up, and then you are told, oh, go do an x-ray, hope the bone is not fractured and stuff like that. So a physical trauma. Then emotional trauma, you are in the office and your boss yells at you in front of everybody. The direct impact, it's a very direct, and you feel, oh my god, yeah, you're shaken. So that's a direct trauma again. Or a natural disaster where you have witnessed it firsthand, so you are shaken by the, even if an earthquake comes, it comes for a few seconds. But if it is like, if you see the whole building shaking, oh my God, you run out of the house or you are in a bad state. So that is a direct experience of a trauma, a very bang on, or a sudden loss, a death of loved one, or witnessing a very violent event or something. So these are all direct forms of trauma. But what is passive trauma? Passive trauma is, it is obviously less obvious. But it is less obvious means it is not directly like this happened, and it's not a cause and effect immediate, but it is still that deeply impactful, as bad as the direct traumas. And what are the passive traumas? Involving neglect, absence, or a subtle harm over a time. So let's discuss a little bit about passive traumas also before we jump to the uh, demos. So the passive traumas would be like an emotional neglect. If you are growing up in an environment where your emotions are ignored or dismissed, so many times, so many people, so many clients have told us that the father was busy in work when we were growing up. We never saw. By the time he came from office, we used to go to bed. Mother had so many things in the household to look after. She was so busy. So when these people, they grow up, so did you see emotional neglect, passive trauma? And when they grow up, they have difficulty in connecting with their partners. Why? Because they're still looking for that nurturing which they missed out in their childhood. So that missing out of nurturing is a traumatic experience for them. So what they look out in a partner is nurturing, but partner is not your husband or your wife, or not your father or your mother. A partner is a partner. The equation is different. So this emotional neglect leads to a passive trauma, which creates mess in your life, in later stage of your life, over a period of time. Then lack of support. So if you are unseen or unsupported by your parents, teachers, peers, or so many people, many times, I mean, this is, we all will resonate. If you loved your teacher, you liked that subject and you did well. And the moment the teacher is not good, you start falling in the understanding of the subject. Your grades fall. So many times,
My daughter has that.
yeah, yeah.
She's struggling in her O levels. It's like, I don't like biology. But that was like last term, and then this term she got a new biology teacher, and she's like, "Oh my God, this bio teacher is out of the world. She teaches so well." So definitely, yes, I
Yeah.
agree with you.
So, yeah, it's not about biology, it's about the teacher, lack of support. Again, a trauma, passive trauma over a period of time. Then, chronic invalidation, like constantly being told your feelings and opinions or experience doesn't matter. I got a client in, he was from a business family, and the business was established by his father. And his father, and he joined his father's business, but the father didn't allow him for any opinion, didn't accept any opinion. He was a very dominating personality. So, but he because it was a well-established business, so he joined his father's business, and he was all the time not allowed to speak up. All the decisions, no opinion, nothing. He became an angry man, and his wife took a session. He said, he's so angry, he's so unhappy, and it all comes back to us in our family life. So passive trauma over a period of time now ruining his family life. He's got beautiful family, kids, loving wife, but he is a very angry person because he did not process his passive trauma. Then what else? What do you think? Even society, cultural, it's many Indians will resonate. There is so much discrimination in cultural and society related trauma. You might be oppressed, discrimination or exclusion. Girls face that all the time, especially in Indian families, where boys are treated differently and the girls are treated differently in many families. And I remember in my school days, one of my friend, they had so much discrimination that good quality of food was given to the boys and the leftovers were given to the girls. Yeah, it happened. uh, and she said, like, she was so hopping mad because we are all educated people and we are all equal, this is what we know. And she developed hate of men. She could not marry later on. She had so much anti men feelings. So again, a passive trauma. Her environment, she was provided with everything. It wasn't that they were rich, but the mentality was discrimination. So she had all the comforts, but the passive trauma over a time ruined her life, her behavior. So if you see, what we do in healing these type of traumas is, first, both the traumas have everlasting effects, whether it is active or passive. Obviously, the passive ones are harder to recognize because they are not directly visible to us. They happen over a period of time. But healing both types of trauma involves first bringing it into your awareness, and then first we bring it to your awareness, and then we address the emotional wounds that are left behind. So process is awareness, and then we heal the emotional wounds. And if you see, the medical science does the same thing. You have an issue, you are asked for a go for a blood test. What the blood test tells you, it gives you the awareness. Oh, this virus is showing, this mineral is vitamin is less. Oh, there is a excess of this mineral. So it gives you, so this is only awareness. It doesn't do anything else, but a medical test report is the awareness. And then what is the solution? The doctor will give you a treatment. Take this one course of antibiotic, and take vitamin B for 3 months, and a vitamin D also. Something. So solution. Exactly, this is what we will do. What we do is, today when we are going to do the demo, we work on the emotions. We'll tell you what all emotions are creating the trauma, holding the trauma. So we give you awareness. The awareness itself is a starting process of healing. And then what is the solution? As Brenda said, either you learn our method so that you can heal yourself, or you take healing sessions to resolve it. So this is a simple formula.
Are there any questions, Shilpa? Anything?
Thank you, Brenda and Charu. That was such a nice flow and such a good crash course on trauma. Seema said she was not here perhaps yesterday, that she caught the replay and it was absolutely amazing. We
Thank
so
you.
agree, Seema. And B Singh has asked a question. It is possible to experience both passive and active trauma at the same time, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
They
All
go
right.
hand in hand. At times, they go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. And Seema has asked, how do we recognize passive traumas?
So that is where our role comes into play, because you can't just pinpoint. You think, like
Yeah.
I gave you an example that this gentleman, he joined his father's business, and the father did not allow him to or respect his opinion, and he just suppressed him. He made him like as if he's not present. He doesn't need, and uh, that thing created so much anger in him, and that anger reflected in his family life. Not in he did not have the guts to speak up in front of his father. So when the wife came for the session, then we do that research. We talk to you. We do a discovery session where we talk to you, and then through our charts and through our shamanic journey, we are able to figure out where the actual root cause is.